Aaron Schoenke may have been a friend of the late Jason David Frank, but he certainly never had Jason or Jason's family's best interest at heart. Now, while I do not say this lightly, by the end of this video, you may feel the same way because in the aftermath of Jason's untimely passing, what Aaron Schoenke is accused of doing to the Frank family is downright awful. Aaron Schoenke early in his career achieved success on YouTube by stealing popular IP and making fan film fulfillment fights called Super Beatdowns, eventually gaining sponsorships and millions of YouTube views. This allegedly turned into quite a bit of money, none of which Aaron shared with his team or actors or creators, despite continuing to pay standard rates and leveraging friends for favors.
Aaron wanted more. Greed.
This was at a time when competition with this type of material was scarce, with YouTube still in its infancy, and their material took off. That said, millions of views on YouTube does not equate to legitimate filmmaking or comic book writing career, and nothing bigger was working out for Aaron. But a few years in, Superpower Beatdown host Damian Brewer introduced Aaron to former Power Rangers star, MMA fighter, and actor Jason David Frank.
You introduced Aaron to Jason?
Oh yeah. When I told Aaron that I was working with Jason, and his jaw dropped because Aaron was a huge Green Ranger fan.
Aaron initially latched on to Jason, recognizing Jason's popularity and reach, as well as the potential for Aaron to be validated by legitimate entities like Saban Brands and Hasbro because of his association with Jason. As I've shown earlier in this channel, Aaron liked to use Jason David Frank's name, popularity, and relationships in order to gain access to Saban Brands and Boom Studio executives. Aaron continuously pitched unsolicited ideas, often with Jason as the lead and Aaron as the director, on projects where Aaron or Jason would write, and I use write very loosely, comic books together despite Jason not looking to be a writer. Most notable, the example of when Aaron went behind Jason's back to reach out to Senior Vice President of the Power Rangers franchise development, Brian Castini, who worked for both Saban and Hasbro, trying to push a Green Ranger web series on behalf of Jason. However, text messages between Jason David Frank and Power Rangers writer Kyle Higgins and others show how unhappy Jason was about Aaron's actions, especially after Jason had told Aaron not to email the executive. But this is nothing compared to the story I'm about to lay out for you about how Aaron's selfishness after Jason's passing screwed the Frank family out of well over $20,000, all because he put himself first over Jason's family and Jason's legacy. On May 25th at 12:45 p.m., I received a message from a source saying I have a potential bombshell. Working on it. Too early to share details, still getting the story, but once I get it approval, I'll share it with you and will be the nail in Aaron's coffin. This that could actually destroy the relationship between JDF's family if they're unaware of what happened. I now have the story. I just have to map out how to get it to you with receipts. It turns out we're about to look at allegedly occurred in 2023 after JDF's passing. This is about something that was going to happen, but Aaron got in the way and caused it not to. My source went on to share that this is something that only Aaron and key individuals know about. Then later that night, they finally got me the details. Finally, it's been a while, but in late 2022, Boom Studios was working on their second Power Rangers Kickstarter, this time in celebration of the 30th anniversary of the brand. They planned hardcover was to reprint several key comic book stories, and thanks to signed book plates from actors left over from Boom's first Kickstarter, they plan to create their once again offering the book plates. However, after Jason passed away, the plan changed, and the second book came together. This one would feature Jason's signed book plates, collect important Green Ranger stories, and all proceeds will be donated to the Frank family in Jason's memory. I was told that the conversation started with Boom reaching out to Tammy Frank, but Aaron inserted himself somehow and took over with a list of demands. These demands are like crazy, guys, so bear with me. Aaron wanted Boom to redo the drawings from the book and cover, which featured traditional Green Ranger, to use his personal Batman's son Green Ranger costume. And it doesn't stop there. And Aaron wanted his name added to the credits of the original graphic novel story / Soul of the Dragon.
No.
While I am sure Aaron positioned these demands to being the ones that Jason really wanted, like he does with everything, in reality, These demands purely serve Aaron. Ultimately, by trying to get Boom to retroactively insert the Bat in the Sun costume into new printings of old stories, Aaron is trying to get Hasbro to acknowledge his fan film material in a way that legitimizes him, even if it means blowing up an opportunity to make his supposed best friend's family some much needed funds. Plus, I've already shown email proof that, Jason was actually cool with the credit that he received on Soul of the Dragon. It was instrumental in making sure Aaron received no credit for the book, not even based on a concept buy credit, because in all honesty, Aaron contributed absolutely nothing. But don't take my word for it. Let Aaron tell it in this text to Jason. All he did, if anything, was put the idea in Hasbro's mind to create an older Tommy story. Bro really think he out here Leonardo DiCaprio from Inception, In addition to his hatred for Saban and Boom, I bet this is also the beginning of Aaron hating Kyle Higgins. Anyone could have come up with this older Tommy series. It's not really an original idea, if you get what I'm saying. Having read Aaron's elementary pitch for Rise of the Emerald Dragon and being familiar with, Soul of the Dragon comic, they are truly night and day. In fact, I'm willing to bet with all of Aaron complaining about opportunities and stories being stolen from him, he's never even read Soul of the Dragon. But back to the Kickstarter situation, okay? I had some questions because, the source, was not the one Aaron, told his list of demands to. I was hearing this third hand and wanted to hear it direct from someone's mouth. So I put some feelers out to an ex-Boom employee via email, and the email read as follows. My name is Henry Resilient. I investigate bad actors, pun intended. In the Power Rangers fandom, Aaron Schoenke is at the top of my list. I have uncovered several hard truths about him, from underpaying staff to outright lying to the fandom regarding his relationship with the late Jason David Frank. I've been exposing Aaron Schoenke in a series of videos, from confirming Kevin Porter will never work with him again to interviewing someone who worked with Aaron Schoenke on plenty of Bat in the Sun superpower beatdowns. The purpose of this email is because I was told that the 30th Power Ranger anniversary Kickstarter was going to include leftover Jason David Frank items, in which money raised was going to be donated to the Frank family. However, Aaron was speaking on behalf of the family and making some questionable demands. I'm hoping you'll be willing to verify what you have heard. Full disclosure, should you choose to help, I intend to keep you anonymous and label you as being a reliable source unless you tell me otherwise. I hope you are willing to share what you've heard. While you think about it, here are some videos that describe what I am doing in this series. Now, I know I may have phrased it at what that guy heard, but in all reality, I knew that was the person who knew exclusively what was said. But it took a while. I finally got a response back via Instagram from a different ex-Boom employee who was very familiar with what had happened. During that first Power Rangers Kickstarter that Boom did, the one that reprinted all the hardcovers, Boom paid a bunch of actors to do signed book plates. A couple years later, they planned another Kickstarter. Jason had already passed away, but Boom still had a bunch of his signed book plates left over. They had been planning to reach out about using them for the next Kickstarter, but after Jason passed away, they didn't feel right about making money on them. Instead, they put together a plan for them for a Green Ranger tribute book, a totally separate book added to the Kickstarter, with all proceeds for it going as a donation to Tammy and Jenna. This would have been somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000. God damn, that's a lot of money for them really to just say sure. However, after Boom reached out to Tammy over email, Aaron inserted himself as the designated representative of the Frank family. This guy is the last person who should be designated as a representative of the Frank family, but let's continue. Aaron tried to leverage the idea that Jason was still upset about Soul of the Dragon, which was to be included in the tribute book, to justify his demands that Boom restore their writing credit. He also wanted Boom to replace the Green Ranger suit on the cover of the book with the Bat in the Sun version, because that was Jason's favorite. Bro, always speaking for goddamn Jason. I get so annoyed when Aaron says Jason wanted ABC, or Jason said DEF, or Jason felt blah blah blah. I just want to tell him to shut the Boom informed Aaron that none of that was going to be possible. Instead, Boom gave Aaron a deadline as the Kickstarter got closer to launch date to bring the offer to Tammy. But Aaron told Boom, we can't move forward without his demands being met. And just like that, no tribute book, no proceeds for the family. Now, this is the bullshit I'm talking about. When Aaron looks out just for Aaron, there's no way Tammy or Jenna knew about this, right? They are really cool on just passing up $20,000 to $25,000 because they're lying in the sand with some old fan film costume design made by Aaron that only benefits And Aaron, this was confirmation I was looking for. Aaron with a chance literally to further solidify Jason Frank's name in history and a chance to help put money in his best friend's family's pocket. Instead, put his name and his needs first, okay? Because it's all about Aaron. As I've said time and time again, Aaron has always been out for Aaron. And this is just another great example of it. Ever since Jason passed in 2022, Aaron has continued to speak on Jason's behalf. Maybe the Bat in the Sun suit really is like Jason's favorite Green Ranger suit. I mean, either way, it's easy, to say that when like Jason is no longer here to corroborate it. And even if that was the case, right? Who cares, man? Who cares? Because now the only person who benefits from changing it is Aaron. And it actually hurts the Jason David Frank family. As far as Soul of the Dragon, I've previously covered email correspondence that showed Jason was happy with the credit he did get on the Soul of the Dragon, as well as how the book turned out. He also made sure that Aaron received no credit at all because Aaron's tendency to keep going behind Jason's back in order to set up deals from himself, leveraging Jason's name. The emails, look, guys, I've shown you in this video are 100% real. Do not let Aaron tell you they are fake because he knows exactly who those emails came from. Don't act like you don't. You said their names before. But, and asking for his credit to be restored to Soul of the Dragon, like, come on, man. Last summer, right? Y'all remember Aaron went on Jason David Frank's former assistant, Francis Rodriguez's channel, and claimed that Boom changed the Soul of the Dragon just enough so they didn't have to credit him.
Back to let's just pitching the comic book again. So then we ended up speaking to Bryce over at Boom, and we were like, hey, let's make Legend of the Emerald Dragon a thing. And they were like, we like this old man Tommy thing, which is what Jason always said. And we started developing it over there. And then they brought on Kyle to write the story, and then we were going to get credited and all that kind of stuff because it was our story. And then the day of, they reached out to me and Jason, said, hey, we're going to press and we're going to announce the book tomorrow, but we have legally changed the story just enough to where we don't have to credit you guys. And then we're dropping it tomorrow. And me and Jason.
That was Soul of the Dragon, correct?
And that was Soul of the Dragon, yes.
But surprise, surprise, guess what? That statement was 100% false. The reality is that Aaron never contributed anything to Soul of the Dragon. At absolute best, the best that he could literally say, like the best that he could say, you got to go back to that text message, his text message, where he said that it was him and Jason that put the idea about doing an older Tommy story in Saban's head. A concept which anyone, like literally anyone, my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter could think about. It's not it's some original idea. To make matters worse for Aaron, right? According to the Power Ranger Illuminati, guys, and I believe this to be true, there are loads and loads of Facebook Messenger messages between Aaron and Kyle Higgins, where Aaron refuses to leave Kyle alone and begs to be involved in the comic, with Kyle telling him no, that everything has to go through the proper channels. Aaron even allegedly tells Kyle he doesn't care that Kyle wrote the entire Soul of the Dragon comic himself without Aaron's input, and that Aaron just wanted credit. Because in reality, he never wrote anything for Soul of the Dragon. Remember, guys, Aaron is not a writer. In all honesty, I can't imagine Tammy or even Jenna is aware of the specifics, because if this is true, Aaron did not even take them the offer. Boom wanted to honor Jason David Frank and put money in their pocket during a very, very trying time. I know they're not swimming in money, right? Or are they? Maybe I could be wrong. And Aaron ruined it. It doesn't matter though, because I will be making sure they get a copy of this video personally. I'm sure that Aaron is going to try to tell them not to watch it, because if they for 1 second start watching my content, they may see Aaron for the type of person he is. I wonder what other opportunities that the Frank family missed out on by letting Aaron act as their spokesperson. Looks like Aaron is up shit's creek in a broken down canoe without a paddle. I can't wait to see how he tries to explain this away. Maybe he'll write it off as clickbait, lies, and misinformation. Make sure you record it though, right? Because we all know after he goes live and try to brush this under the rug, he's going to private or delete the live stream.